This is the third conversation about Chapter 7 in our physics book, and this is introducing the concept of power. And again, this is power in terms of, in the language of physics, not in everyday ordinary language. Similar, but a little bit more precise. We've already talked about energy and work, and after power, we'll talk about potential and kinetic energy and conservation, ending up with machines. When we talk about power, if you remember when we talked about work, uh, work work was equal to force times distance measured in Newton meters, or for shortcut we'll call those joules. That's work. When we talk about power, we're talking about how fast the work is done. Work doesn't take into account a time element, and power does. So when we talk about power, it's the work in relationship to the time that that work was conducted. And remember, work is always done from one object on another. Um, for example, if you're getting from the basement to the top floor of a building, um, a person who goes faster is using more power than a person going slowly. Um, or, or if we're looking at some sort of industrial situation, if we've got an engine that is twice as powerful, it's going to do double the work um, of a less powerful engine. Uh, and we're talking about how energy is transformed from one form to another. When we talk about power, and you've got so many terms to look at, we're looking at a joule per second, and that is what we call a watt. Again, there's just a lot of terms to keep a hold of. You're probably familiar with the idea of a kilowatt, and that's what we talk about in terms of our power plants that light our cities. They measure in terms of kilowatts. That's a joule per second times 1,000. So your job can be done slowly or quickly, and work. Remember this: that work doesn't care how long it took to get done. Work only cares that it gets done. But power is taking into account if it's done slowly or quickly. So, when we do the job slowly or quickly, um, using the same amount of work, what is it that happens that's different? Well, the thing that's different is power, and that's the whole definition of power. It's the rate at which the work gets done.